Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're heading way back, before 1492 to the Americas.
Mhm.
And we're looking at Charles C. Mann's book, 1491. It's pretty groundbreaking. Might really shift how you think about things.
It definitely challenges some long-held assumptions.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack some of these surprising findings. Archaeology, anthropology.
Yeah,
It paints a very different picture. Ready?
let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with maybe the biggest shocker Mann presents.
Yeah.
Population.
Yeah.
Before 1492, I mean, the image most of us have is like vast empty wilderness, right? Maybe some scattered tribes.
Yeah, that's the old narrative. But Mann pulls together evidence showing the Americas were incredibly heavily populated. We're talking tens of millions, possibly more.
Tens of millions, really.
Yeah, huge number. And not just scattered, like you said.
Yeah.
Think of massive civilizations. The Inca Empire down in South America, the Aztec in Mesoamerica.
Huge empires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even in North America, you had complex Mississippian cultures. Cahokia, for instance, near modern St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Cahokia.
At its peak, around, say, 1100 AD, it was bigger than London was at that exact same time.
Bigger than London. That's hard to picture, actually.
It is. It forces a real rethink.
So it wasn't just the sheer number of people then.
Right.
Mann digs into how sophisticated these societies were, too, right? Their cities, their engineering. What stands out there?
Oh, absolutely. The ingenuity is quite something. In the Andes, you see incredible terracing, complex irrigation systems, turning steep mountainsides into farmland.
Right, transforming the landscape.
Exactly. Or the Maya with their astronomy and calendars. Astonishingly precise, it governs so much of their lives.
And Cahokia, the mounds.
Those massive earthworks, yes. They weren't just random piles of dirt. They were feats of engineering and social organization. They tell us these were highly structured societies. Complex governance, trade, the works.
And Mann also tackles that old idea of the noble savage, doesn't he? That image of people just living in nature passively.
He does. That's a really key point. Native Americans weren't just in the environment. They were actively shaping it, engineering it, really.
How so? Like, what were they doing?
Well, using controlled fire, for example, to manage forests, this wasn't just letting things burn. It was about creating specific types of landscapes, opening areas for game or farming.
Ah, so deliberate management.
Very deliberate. And in the Amazon, this idea of creating terra preta, this incredibly fertile black earth. Yeah, it's basically man-made soil, super rich, made with charcoal, pottery shards, organic waste. It allowed for dense populations and sustainable farming in areas we used to think couldn't support it. They really terraformed parts of the continent.
Okay, so we have these large, complex, sophisticated societies actively managing their world. Then, 1492 happens.
What?
But Mann points out something devastating happened before widespread contact, right?
Yes, and this is crucial for understanding why the empty land myth took hold. Disease. European diseases like smallpox, measles, influenza.
Stuff they had no immunity to.
Exactly. And these diseases spread incredibly fast, often faster than the explorers themselves. They raced ahead through indigenous trade networks.
So people were dying before they even saw a European.
In huge numbers. Some estimates suggest up to 90% of the population in certain areas died off. A catastrophic collapse.
90%. That's almost unimaginable.
It is. And that collapse is a major reason why later Europeans encountered landscapes that seemed sparsely populated or even empty. It wasn't the original state. It was the aftermath of an apocalypse, really.
Wow. So given all this evidence Mann lays out, why did those older, inaccurate ideas stick around for so long? The empty wilderness, the primitive societies.
Well, it's complicated. Part of it was, frankly, older biases, colonial viewpoints, racism. They played a role in downplaying indigenous achievements.
Convenient for the colonizers, I suppose.
It certainly helped justify dispossession, but also early archaeology just didn't have the tools or the interdisciplinary approach we have now. They were working with limited data.
And now?
Now we have better dating techniques, genetics, aerial surveys, a willingness to combine insights from different fields. It's allowing us to piece together a much more accurate and, frankly, more impressive picture. We're finally seeing the true scale and complexity.
So for you listening, what's the big takeaway here? I mean, it sounds like it fundamentally changes the story of the Americas.
It really does.
It really pushes us to question the historical narratives we've inherited, doesn't it? And to appreciate the complexity, the influence The sheer scale of these civilizations.
Absolutely. It shows they weren't just passive occupants, but active agents who shaped their world in profound ways.
Mann's 1491 isn't just adding footnotes to history. It feels like it's rewriting a whole chapter, showing these dynamic, influential societies.
It is, and perhaps it leaves us with this thought. How much of what we think we know about history is shaped by who got to tell the story first, or whose perspective survived?
Yeah.
Uncovering these silenced or misunderstood histories, it's an ongoing process, a continuous journey of discovery, really.
A powerful reminder. Keep exploring, keep questioning those stories. There's always more to uncover.